So tell us, what's the next
well, this
practice that we're going to do?
Well, this would be something where someone would need like a pen and a pencil.
Okay.
But I came up with some journal questions, and these are for self-love.
Great.
Yeah.
So maybe to anyone who's watching, if you want to get a piece of paper and a pen to jot down the things that the suggestions you'll give us here.
Yeah, and journaling can be simply like list making. It doesn't have to be like long paragraphs. It doesn't need to be perfect punctuation. Really, it should be more like just playing and allowing that free association of what feels like your heart and your body is speaking. So these prompts were, what I look like doesn't define me. What does define me is...
And then you journal from there.
And then you go.
Great.
And the
so
idea
it's like
is
it's a starter
It's a starting point. And you could keep your pen moving instead of like stopping and looking up at the sky for the answer. You could just draw, because it's been proven that if you just keep your pen moving, it's almost like that flow of consciousness will come through.
Yeah.
And it's best to use a pen and an actual piece of paper, not typing.
Okay.
Okay. And the second one is, I'm worthy of. And the third one is, I'm focusing on the things I can do. I can.
Great. That's, I think, really powerful. Really, because this has come up in conversation with some of the other episodes we've done for this series, that a lot of times patients can get stuck on what they can't do any longer because of the disease. And that's really a powerful exercise for them to focus more on what they can do.
And then the fourth one I came up with is, I am most attracted to myself when I. Because I think it's really important to be attracted to who you are. Yeah. Because, you know, we live in a culture that's just sort of obsessed with physical attributes, and beauty as really has nothing to do with an internal experience. It's very superficial. So I'm really champion people in all my work to really find out what they're attracted to in themselves. Yeah, and I think just a tip on journaling, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if something really resonates, I find that it's really good to say, wow, that's what I'm teaching myself. That's like my leading edge. Right. Or that's where I'm healing.
Right. And focus on that.
And focus on that, because what's going to happen is the anxiety of learning is different than the anxiety of just like kind of daily anxiety.
Right.
So what I would, as a responsible teacher, I would say, be aware if you're teaching yourself something new, you're going to feel a bit vulnerable.
Right.
And authenticity and vulnerability are like kind of really hot words right now.
Yeah.
But they really feel really uncomfortable.
Yes.
So I just want to say that doing these journaling exercises or doing the meditation, there might be a sense of agita afterwards, like, oh my God, I just saw that I can do a lot more than I've been letting myself do, or what have you. And it's really important to align yourself with a friend who will support that, or you know, like build community around your growth, your inner growth, because it's so important for people to see you for who you really are, not just who they think you are.
Right.
So I just wanted to leave people with that.
And I think that in touching on the vulnerability, that just from my own experience in journaling, it is really important that you say you're going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel anxiety, that's okay, that's normal. And also what helps me, and when I've ever journaled, is remind yourself that nobody else is going to read this if you don't want them to.
That's true.
You know, and I mean, you could even get rid of it after you write it if you need to. You know, just the act of getting something onto paper, out of your mind, can be so therapeutic that, you know, just don't let yourself get tripped up on the fact that you're afraid to say these things out loud. Writing them down makes it feel so heavy, but it doesn't mean that anybody else has to see it. And don't let that hold you up from doing the exercise. I also was going to ask, would you suggest that when they do these journaling, each sentence that they do, could they turn that into a mantra to use in their meditation?
Absolutely. I think that you could turn it into an affirmation. This is what I love and adore about myself.
And maybe explain what an affirmation is and how that can be used.
An affirmation is something that you repeat to yourself we really do become our thoughts. So if our predominant thought is, I really don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen. And then we live 10 years with that predominant thought, we're going to feel tremendous stress. Do you know what I mean? But an affirmation is really affirming your sense of self, your sense of having advocacy. You can advocate for yourself.
Right. And giving yourself more of a positive, reoccurring thought throughout the day.
Yeah, and it's not like sugarcoating, too, because that can be really dangerous.
Right.
But a positive affirmation could be like, I am honest and whole and complete.
Right.
I'm honest, whole, and complete. And that could be wherever I go, if I'm honest, whole, and complete, then I'm going to be truthful. So I think it's really great. I mean, some of these things that start to feel like Saturday Night Live skits, because you're like, I love and approve of myself. It's a little Jack Handy, but the truth is it does really help, and it does work.
And I think it's important that you say that, because like I said, people can just get so caught up in how uncomfortable it feels, or that it feels like, exactly how you just said, like a joke almost. But if you can get over that and realize that no matter how uncomfortable you feel, this could give you great benefit. It's worth maybe just exploring.
It can be a lifesaver. I mean, it can be the difference between feeling like you're living somebody else's life or the wrong life, and actually living your life.
Right.
So yeah, I think we don't source life usually from the outside. Life is sourced from ourself. It's generated from an internal space. So
well, you're saying that's something we should aspire to do, is live from within, as opposed to, because I think we're kind of predisposed to look for it out there.
Exactly.
And think that's where we're going to find it.
Exactly. We think we're going to find it, and that seeking and yearning and craving to fix whatever we feel is lacking.
Right.
Because most of us have a wound, whether that wound comes from childhood or it comes from some aspect, disease, something happens to us and it's out of our control. So we're never at fault. This is not our fault. There's nothing wrong here. There's a fine line between being like self-obsessed and turning inward and then going back outward.
Right.
But I think the Persian poet Rumi said it best, we are guest houses. The guest house idea is that every day we're visited by joy, sadness, worry, doubt, anxiety, loss, lack, approval, disapproval, and to sort of know that those forces are it's going to move us. They're going to be rushing in and out, and they're going to come and go, and we have to sort of be detached, like Sunny says, like that detachment from being too connected to either one.
Right, right.
Because if all we want is joy, that's wonderful, but that's not really realistic.
Not reality, right?
Because we're going to have
I like the idea of seeing it as it comes and goes too,
Yeah.
because you can become so attached to the thought that, especially for the scleroderma community and the things that they're experiencing, I would imagine you can become very attached to what you're experiencing, maybe the negative emotions, that you're not letting space in for the more positive emotions and the joy, and maybe this can help create that.
Yeah, I mean, you're pointing out something really beautiful too, and I think meditation doesn't have to just be like the way we're sitting. Like if we had a longer time together, I have another idea as we're sitting here.
I think we could talk for a couple hours.
We could talk for a couple hours, but there's one other thing, is that just simply taking sort of what I call like eye meditation, where I'll look around and I'll say, oh my God, that's really beautiful, that color, or those shoes, or I love your hair. So I'm focusing on beauty. I'm predisposing myself to scan for what is beautiful constantly, because I know me. I can kind of go dead behind my eyes, like when I call it like withdrawing back into the sort of like zone, and I often train myself to stay in beauty, to stay looking for how things are so beautiful, because even having our eyesight is such a gift.
So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming here, taking the time to share these tools with us that I think are going to be really helpful for the scleroderma community or anyone who battles chronic illness. And we hope to work together in the future with some more tools that we can bring to everybody.
Thank you. I hope to support any patients, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you everyone for watching this episode of Sclero What? We will be sharing Jennifer's information and the tools that we talked about today. So check that out, and until next time, thanks.